that one, man. We'll go ahead and move on. Next topic we're going to talk about is Cam Newton. So Cam Newton went completely, utterly, insanely viral today with some comments that he made about women's roles. I
got a clip if you want me to pull it up.
Yeah. You can go ahead and pull it up.
Hold on 1 second, bro. Let me get this thing off.
I grew up in a 3-parent house.
Okay, let me get this thing all queued up. 1 second, my bad. We transitioned so fast. Hold on.
Yeah. So Cam Newton was on a podcast today. What's the podcast called? Defiant or?
No, this one was $1 million worth of game with Gilly the Kid. Yeah, I don't know the other guy name. Sorry, big dog, but I know Gilly the Kid though.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, Gilly the Kid. What happened to him?
Don't they? Come on, man. We respect the game.
No, we respect the game. I'm just saying. I thought it was gonna be big, you know. And,
yeah. Oh, you mean in rap wise?
Yeah. The music.
Oh, yeah.
So Cam Newton made some comments about his idea of women's roles, so on and so forth. So we'll play what he had to say, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
All right.
I grew up in a 3-parent household. My mom, my father, and my grandmother. And I knew what a woman was. Not a bad bitch. Okay, what's the difference? A woman. Okay. Bad bitch is a person who's just, girl, I'm a bad bitch. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part. Okay. And it's a lot of women who are bad bitches. And I say bitches in a way, not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Mm-hmm. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby, like, but you can't cook. Okay. You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
And one thing real quick, fair use, by the way, Barstool. Because we're just sharing a tweet, man. This is from a tweet from the Recount alt. So we're just sharing a tweet, but and reacting to it.
Gotcha. Don't flag us.
Yeah, it's fair use on that one, man. We just trying to do our thing. But go ahead, bro.
Don't flag us. So yeah, so that was what Cam had to say. And so and naturally what the media, because this actually made it to the mainstream media today. And what the media touched on was the specific part where he talked about you don't know how to cook or be quiet. And so they used that to sort of suggest that Cam Newton was, I guess he was playing to the lowest hanging fruit of the smallest tropes when it comes to subjugating women based upon their primary responsibility of domestication and having to cater to a man, and that's their sole reason for existing, is to be an appendage for a man and to cater to his needs and to just be domesticated and cook and clean, but otherwise be quiet. So that's how the media ran with that particular part of it.
Right.
As you can see from that clip, that was not the entire thing, but that's what the media did. The media took that piece where he mentioned cooking and being quiet and, kind of ran with it. And so now he's going viral today for being anti-woman, I guess. I'll kind of let you. I'll kind of let you kick this one off because I do agree with you. We was talking about this before we started this stream, that a lot of this amounts to fake outrage. I'm inclined to agree, but I'll let you go ahead and start this one off.
Yeah. So I do think this is. I don't really feel like outrage is genuine. So Cam Newton's talking points aren't new. So it's not like he said something that's, groundbreaking. So he's being critiqued on his viewpoints, which is dangerous. And so nowadays with, the social justice and cancel culture and all this other stuff like we talked about before, it's creating groupthink. And over time, this is it's like a mountain, and each new wave of sensitivity is crashing against the mountain, and eventually, it will, layer by layer, will begin to get chewed away. And so what we're witnessing right now is the grooming of a new culture that's going to be what we call America, or mainstream society. And that is a place where people aren't allowed to have their own opinions.
Yeah.
And they have to have one uniform opinion about damn near everything at this point. And so Cam Newton, a man, a father, I believe all of his children is from the same woman.
So no.
It's not?
No.
It's
no,
different.
But he's an active.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's sort of part I know about it. So I just see him. Oh yeah, Cam Newton with his kids. So all right. So with Cam Newton, active guy with his kids. So he's a family oriented guy. So he's not like he's some type of backwoods super crazy man or what have you. So I think that the guy, he's entitled to his opinion. But you got to understand this too, that he's an athlete, a professional athlete, a well-known professional Heisman Trophy winner. All right, almost Super Bowl. All right, and so for him, he's only been dating quote unquote bad bitches. He's only had access to that, and so when he's dealing with these women that are just looks, he doesn't want that. He wants a mother, and he doesn't want somebody that's going to be doing it for the gram, doing it for the Brittany Renner reasons. You had to throw her in there. And doing it for those reasons, and just for the sake of being bad. Hey, look, those girls that are quote unquote bad, by the way, to me that's not bad. I don't like that status quo bad, and so, but that status quo bad requires a lot of effort. You see how much energy they put into that. They put so much energy into that. Well, they don't put any energy in anything else. And so what Cam's talking about is that, hey, yeah, you're doing all of this stuff as far as aesthetics is concerned, but when it comes to substance, can you even cook? Hell, not for me. Can you feed yourself? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
He didn't say cook for me. He said, can you cook? The answer is no. A resounding no. And yeah, I know how to cook. Do you? All right. And I don't call Easy Mac. All right. Mashed potatoes out of box.
Yeah.
Cornbread out of box. Anything out of can. You don't know how to cook. You don't. Oh, my grandma, your grandma knew how to cook, but you don't. Yet you spend all this time on makeup tutorials trying to bag a guy. But then once you get the guy, there's no substance to keep the guy. So the only thing Cam is saying is, hey, where's your substance? These women are running around with all this, the stallion energy, all the hot girl summer energy, and all this other extra stuff here. And so when they run around, you got to put a large amount into that bucket. That's a large investment. Women are spending lots of hours trying to look like this. And by the way, a lot of them are looking kind of good. So they're spending so much. So I was like, damn, it used to be a lot more average women. Now the average women have learned how to look above average. I'm not mad at that, but all this energy spending to look good, there isn't much Austin behind that. I'm not saying this is for all women, but the overwhelming majority of the masses. So that's my take of it initially. That's what I got.
Yeah. So, let me just address Cam real quick, because I know what he was trying to do. Cam Newton could benefit from taking public speaking classes, because when you are devoid of public speaking skills, and when you're devoid of like higher level elocution and communication skills, you might at times not effectively communicate what it is that you're trying to say in the best possible way. And when you do that, you open yourself up to the possibility of being ridiculed. Now, I know what Cam was getting at. Right. And I believe that Cam was getting at what you were getting at, which is the intangibles.
Right.
But for him, he doesn't know how to say, but what are your intangibles? He only knows how to say, can you cook and clean? You know what I'm saying? And so like and what the media is going to do is feast on that. Yeah. And the media is going to run with the story. Oh, Cam's talking about how women need to learn how to cook and clean. Look at him being one of these subjugating men out here trying to keep his thumb on the, keep his boot on the neck of all women everywhere. And it's like, okay, you know what? Fine. I expect the media and society to run with that. I expect the social media world to do that, because that's the society that we live in. That's the world that we live in now. We live in the world of the hot take, the clickbait, the social media stuff. So I expect that. I'm not even surprised that that's what happened. So because I expect that to happen, and I'm not surprised that that's what happened, I have to then say to Cam Newton, bro, you need to learn how to do better, that when you're making these public appearances and you're lending your voice to a platform and you want to express your views and opinions, you need to practice on how to most effectively communicate your message so that you don't expose yourself to the possibility of this kind of BS. Because the backlash that he is incurring is complete and utter BS. Because what he is doing is he is speaking towards a person, specifically a woman's intangibles. But like I said, for him, intangible is processed in his brain as, can you cook? Do you know how to be quiet, or whatever the case may be?
Oh yeah, I gotta address that.
Had he said, what are some of your intangibles? What are the qualities that you have that you are bringing to the table in order to counterbalance some of my weaknesses so that we can be a stronger unit? He wouldn't be getting any of this flack. But he didn't say that. He just said, can you cook and can you be quiet? And, that's what Molly Caramel First Take is going to latch herself onto. Oh, cook and be quiet. He's playing to the lowest hanging fruit. Look at Cam Newton being Cam Newton. This is disgraceful, blah, 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 blah. So that's as far as I'm going to go with Cam Newton, because I don't think that he was necessarily in the wrong. I'm just going to say he could benefit from, enrolling, maybe he needs like a kind of public speaking coach or someone, because even when I watch some of his episodes on his YouTube channel, he's not very good at being an effective communicator. So he can stand to work on those skills. And I'll just leave it at that with Cam Newton. Now, in terms of the rest of this nonsense, we keep it a buck on this channel, so I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah, man.
What the media and because they ran it on First Take and they mentioned it briefly on the Colin Cowherd show today. What the media time and time again fails to do, and it drives me crazy, is the media does not introduce nuance into any conversation. They play to low-hanging fruit just the way they think Cam Newton did. So I don't understand how what they did is any better. I don't understand it. To me, it's all the same thing. They fail, in my opinion, on purpose because they want to be able to gaslight. They fail to introduce nuance into the discussion.
Of course.
And here's the fact of the matter. Cam Newton, being in the position that he is in, as a Heisman Trophy winning, multi-millionaire earning professional football player, he oftentimes finds himself in environments that are populated by a large portion of women who evaluate their worth based upon their physical attractiveness. And they feel as though they don't have to bring anything of substance to the table when it comes to relationships, because for them, their presence is a present. To them, their physical presence is the only requirement that they have to maintain.
Yep.
They believe that them being with you is in and of itself its own reward, and therefore they do not have to offer anything other than their mere existence.
Yep.
And because he often finds himself in those types of environments, surrounded by those types of women, he often finds himself in environments surrounded by women who probably think they don't need to bring anything of substance to the table. And so as a man who intrinsically wants a woman of substance, he probably is saying, what else can you do? What else can you provide for me? See, it's easy for a person like Molly Karam to criticize his comments. Molly Karam isn't one of these women, but to her, she's saying Cam Newton is talking to me.
Right.
And she's saying Cam Newton is talking about me. So yeah, Molly Karam, you might be Wonder Woman. You might be somebody who's sensitive and who knows how to cater to a man emotionally and can cook and works out and doesn't believe that your presence is the only thing that you need to bring to the table. But what people like her needs to understand is that there is a very sizable percentage of women in our population who are not like that.
Yeah, it's growing.
It is growing. There is a very sizable percentage of women who say, all I got to do is make sure that I hit the squat rack and focus on my makeup tutorials. Or if I don't want to hit the squat rack because I'm lazy, find the best surgeon that I can and work on my looks and get myself an OnlyFans page. Yeah. And that's all that I need to do, because these men just care about looks. So I don't need to focus on intangibles. I can just be. I can just simply exist. I can just simply demand that you, as the man, provide all the legwork, and I can just be here because me because me simply existing as a physically attractive female is its own reward. And therefore I don't need to contribute anything else. There is a sizable percentage of women who maintain this type of thought process. Those are the types of women that Cam Newton finds himself around more often than not, because those are the types of women that are around pro athletes.
Exactly.
So that's what he's talking about. He's not talking about all women. He's not generalizing. These are the women that he finds himself around. Now, I would say to Cam Newton and to other men like him, bro, it becomes incumbent upon you to put yourself in different environments where you can be around different types of women. You're going to have to make that call and stop hanging around the IG models and the OnlyFans women and the rest of these women out here who think like that, because it trust and believe. It's not just OnlyFans chicks and Snapchat chicks and porn chicks and fitness models and OnlyFans. Those aren't the women who think like this. They're just the ones who are the most front-facing. But you have a sizable percentage of modern women who harbor this mentality, who exist and live private lives. And they're the ones who seek out men who match the profile of Cam Newton. So there's no generalization taking place. And you have to understand that and maintain perspective. If you are someone to whom that does not apply, yes, but understand the point of view that Cam Newton and people like him are coming from. He's talking to a particular percentage of women who think like this, who act like this, who behave this way. That's the nuance. That's the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. And of course, the media is not going to talk about this. And I'm not shocked by that. That surprises me not one bit. But those are the women who Cam Newton is talking about. Period. And so my thing is, hey, bro, Cam, other dudes like Cam, these women are only multiplying. They're not dwindling. The amount of women who are this way, it's increasing. It's not getting smaller. So it becomes incumbent upon you to put yourselves to put yourself in an environment where you maximize the opportunity that you have to not be polluted by the presence of females like this. And to people like Molly Karam who want to criticize, and I know I'm mentioning Molly Karam specifically because she was the only female who I saw going off on Cam Newton. But I'm pretty sure if I spent more time on Twitter, I would have seen plenty others.
I'm sure.
The fact of the matter is, he ain't talking about you. So get over it and move on. Like, where is your awareness of the world that we live in? What are the types of women that Cam Newton is around on a regular basis? That's who he's talking about. So all the way around, accountability on everyone's front. Cam needs to Cam needs to do a better job of being in an environment where he does not have to, with such regularity, deal with those types of chicks. And to everybody else, I just say lighten up because he ain't talking about everybody. When he mentions being quiet and when he mentions cooking, he's talking about intangibles. That's what he's talking about. Does he do the best job of elocuting himself? No, fine, I'll give you that. But let's be reasonable and let's not go the route of trying to cancel somebody for saying something that's a very real thing. The fact of the matter is, you got a lot of women out here who are simply not wife and girlfriend material because of the way that they conduct themselves. And they do think that me being here is all that I need to fulfill. And that's it. That's pretty much the crux of this whole thing. And that's primarily what I took from what he said.
And to address, I agree with a lot of what you say, man. And to address what you said as far as like Cam being able to, articulate himself better. Not saying that he can't, but I think he's kind of in this space, with football players, man.
Well, that's why I said like public speaking coach or there's some
he can work around
that
it.
Can happen. Yeah,
he can work around it. I hear that because the thing is I think they just get into the spot where they like turn into like boxers.
Yeah.
And like boxers when they get older, things are limited with their speech and stuff like that. So for him, I'm not saying he can't get there, but he's basically a running back that throws.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I think he's operating at an optimum. I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I see. Yeah, he been hit so much that. Yeah.
I think Cam he's impressive to me for what he's doing. And so I think you can work on it. I think you can sharpen up more for sure. But because he is careful what he's saying, but then he'll say a statement like that, like he is like talking with his homeboys. It's like, bro, this is the internet, bro, and you're Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So, so he would definitely. And man, when you talking about women, bro, it's thin ice, man. It's a few groups of people. It's thin ice, bro.
Yeah.
I get how white people feel now. Before, the only thing you just say, don't say nothing bad about black people, and that was the only group of people. Now it's just like, oh no, everybody. You can't say nothing about anyone. So now it's just like, oh, can't say that. Oh, hey,
yeah.
Oh, I thought this would have been funny. Can't say that. And so it's just like, hey man, yeah, you can't say it.
Well, remember what I said. There are now only two groups of people that you can say something about: white people and straight men. You can say if you're talking about white people or straight men, no one's gonna say anything because
specifically white men.
Yeah, and they're the ones who are they get it the most because that's the cross section. But yeah, you can talk about white people or straight men because the two things that are perceived. I'm not co-signing this. I'm just saying the two things that are perceived to be the root of all evil today is racism and the patriarchy. And white people are the perpetrators of racism. Straight men are the perpetrators of the patriarchy. Therefore, they are the bad guy. So it's okay if you talk about white people and straight men because they're just the root of all evil. And the cross section of that is white heterosexual men. If you talk, you can disparage a white straight man all day long and ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you.
Nah, bro. And I be here. I honestly, hey, their voices, I hear their voices on online at times, and they're aware of it. And it really sucks, man. I be feeling bad for them. Like, oh man, like I be watching a movie and they're just getting dunked on, just absolutely just thrashed, and that's like, man, how I feel paying for this movie. But that's another topic. But yeah, that's some wild stuff, man. But as far as Cam, I think he's capping out a little bit. But and it was another point that you have brought up. I can't remember at the time, but
about women who just think that they have to be present and that's it.
No, but my thing is, no, it was the being quiet part. Okay. So as far as the being quiet part, man, good luck cleaning that up. But it's, man, good luck, man. And there's a lot of people that take things literal and they don't have any layer of thought. But he's not saying be quiet. He's not, man, just stay in the kitchen and be quiet.
And so
and so that's a wild thing to say. But hey, man, we're quiet. So we're asking you to be quiet. We're not asking you to do nothing we're not doing. We're quiet. You be quiet. That's not rude, man. And so when things are so animated, things are so extra, it's like, man, be quiet. So that's one of those things where it's like, bro, you don't say that out loud. And you don't say that to the internet. Yeah. You say that to your homeboys. That's guy talk.
Yeah.
And so, you can say that in the confines of your own thing. Everybody there is going to understand it. Everybody goes about their day happy. But as soon as you go out there and you start, talking about women like that, man, it's hard to clean that up. So this is all kinds of, you talk about content for us, right? This is all kinds of content for any type of news outlet. I saw all types of headlines, misogynistic.
Yeah.
What is another thing they said?
Degrading. Yeah.
And he said in this thing verbatim, I'm not trying to degrade women. Hey, they say
it don't even matter. It don't matter. It don't matter what you said. It's what we think you said.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and it tie back into the point of him being superstar Cam. Now, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he was a big guy in 8th grade. I'm pretty sure he was pretty large compared to the other 8th graders. So, and I'm just starting at 8th grade. This guy's been getting all kinds of attention from women for a long time, and they've all been the same kind, and so the aggressive ones, and so cheerleaders, you name it, whatever.
Yeah.
And so every I would say all high school, he's dealt with a certain type of woman because of their level of aggression and being in his space. So he's just collecting from where he can fish at. And so he's just been collecting. So that's why I said I'll give him 9th grade and on. The type of attention he's been getting has been this.
Yeah.
And so maybe that explains the multiple baby mothers. And so it's a thing where it's like, hey, well, he needs to choose better women. Man.
No, that's his conditioning. It's hard to rewire that program.
Yeah, man, the thing these 10s, bro, whatever guys call a 10, right? What the stuff that I call 10s are off limits. I don't want them. They look too good. I don't want them. So I'll deal with a 9, an 8, or whatever other people got their scales on. I'll deal with those. But I'm not dealing with a 10. Reason being, they're too expensive. And I'm not talking financially. They're expensive emotionally. If you really care about this situation, all this other stuff, you shouldn't. And I'm not saying that, not all 10s are bad. What I'm getting at is, look, man, don't do it. Because when you're in his ballpark, he's getting 10s. Everybody's like,
sure.
He's getting 10s.
Yeah.
And so it's not all 10s. It's some type, right? But that's what I'm saying. So people will be like, "Oh, I'm an everyday person guy." So these Instagram model girls that everybody's Google, you know, I'm assuming these girls are tens. You know, these BBL girls and all this other stuff. I'm assuming they're tens. They're not. That's not my steez. So my thing is I would prefer an everyday look and all that other stuff. And then once she does the makeup tutorials or the nice clothes, she does look like these quote unquote tens or whatever. You know, so it can be an everyday woman. So the women that actually take their time out to go to basically turn their looks into a career, that's dangerous type of stuff. Yeah. And like we were saying, I think he's just speaking from life experience.
Yes.
And so him speaking from life experience candidly,
yes,
he opened himself up to the social justice mob.
Yeah.
And they needed something to do.
Yeah. They always need something to do. They always need something to do. There's never a shortage of time in which they need something to do.
The devil works around the clock.
I can say peanut butter is red and they'll get offended and they'll want to blast me talking about how peanut butter ain't red. They always are looking for something.
Hey man, look, man, don't cancel me. All right. But everything's a joke. All right, everything's a joke. I'm just joking. But this whole thing, man. So Cam, hope he has fun with this. It's kind of like every off season with this guy now. He's not getting into stuff, but he's content creating in the summers, and he's always in the news. That's Cam for you, man.
But see, he's fancying himself a media personality, and so that's the thing. He's trying to. He'll never publicly admit this, but I think in his heart of hearts, he knows that his playing days, unless he's going to be a backup, are done. And so what he's doing is he is strategically trying to position himself into his next career, which is as a media personality. So he has the Cam Newton, he has the YouTube page, and he's got, so he's on the internet often. And so that's why I brought up the whole thing about working on developing your craft. Because if you're going to be in this space where you're going to be talking cultural and social issues and lending your voice to that, it behooves you to be better at being an effective communicator, which you can work on. I know you mentioned that he might be operating at optimum capacity. Even if that's the case, man, he better do a better job of maximizing that, because otherwise he's going to find himself in a social media firestorm every time he does an episode of something, because he's going to say something every time that gets misconstrued. And he can only control the narrative on his own platform. But it takes nothing for any of these other shows to take like what happened this time, to just say, oh, he said a woman needs to be able to cook and stay quiet, and just cut that and say he's degrading women. And so you're opening yourself up to a lifetime of this kind of scrutiny if you don't at least do as best a job as you possibly can of becoming a more effective communicator. But moreover, he is absolutely speaking from life experience. And one of the things that frustrates me so much about this social justice culture is we refuse to acknowledge nuance. We don't want to do it. We just want to say he's being X or she's being Y, insensitive, racist, bigot, whatever adjective you want to put in there. We just want to immediately leap to that. We don't want to take into account a person's body of work, and we don't want to take into account what their intent is. We just want to say none of that even matters. They were being this way, and they need to make amends and apologize and all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, he was 100% speaking from experience. These guys are surrounded by a certain type of woman all the time. And those types of women fit the bill for what Cam Newton was describing. You can't relate to that because you ain't him. You're not in his position. So you don't know the kind of women who, look, I'm a private guy. I'm not even famous or a millionaire. And I've rubbed elbows with those kind of chicks from time to time. So if I've rubbed elbows with those kind of chicks from time to time, Cam Newton is somebody who has $80 million in the bank. what he experiences is that times 100,000.
Exactly, bro.
Seriously, like there are a large there is a large contingent of women who, you know, I went to college. I went to college at Florida State University. They called them cleat chasers, women who made it their business to exclusively chase football players.
And it was a thing, bro.
And it's a whole culture of this. There's books on how to be an effective cleat chaser. If you want to live that life, if you about that life. So you got these women out here, they wait, look, they keep schedules of the visiting team.
Exactly.
Right? So like if you live in a city, they know the visiting football team or basketball team, they know when they go arrive at the hotel. They already know what hotel they staying at. They're in the hotel lobby waiting on these guys.
They're professionals.
Yes.
Yes, what I'm getting. Yeah.
And they're not waiting in the hotel lobby. They're not waiting on the hotel lobby to be feminine, submissive, cooperative wives and girlfriends. They're waiting in the hotel lobby to hypnotize that dude by busting it wide open for him.
Exactly. And all that energy she's using to be bussing and going places and catching flights to catch up with these dudes is all this time that she's investing to look good and do all this stuff. When is she taking time to learn to cook?
Exactly. There is no time.
When is she learning the time to be humble enough to shut up at times? Because everybody has to be humble at times.
Yes. That's not a male or female thing. That's a humanity thing. Exactly. Everyone needs to know when, where, and how to just shut the hell up.
Exactly.
Like, period.
Exactly.
That's not a woman. That's not a male, female. That's the stuff about this. That's what drives me so crazy about this stuff. It's so clickbaity and gaslighting. It's like, no, everyone needs to be able to be quiet. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam Newton is in environments where he is around women who don't care about, nor do they want to, nor do they even retain the capacity to be able to learn this stuff. And he's around that all the time. And I'm going to tell you, most men, no matter what background they have, deep down inside, a man recognizes when that is not something that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like, that's it. So what Cam is saying is, hey, this is not what I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Where are the women who can do the antithesis of that? Should he explain it in a bit more of an elegant way? Perhaps. But he's speaking from life experience. That's it. And that's what he's around. Like, we need to do a better job of understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it.
Agreed, 100. And so, yeah, and as far as like Cam and the type of women and stuff, so that's what I was saying. Like, these are mega thoughts.
Yeah, they're Super Saiyans.
Right. They're professionals. Like you said, they just travel. Like, I used to hear, like, even when I was young, I would hear about stories about wherever the Bulls was at and how the hotels would be, just the women just outside ready for it.
Yeah.
So this is a culture, this is a society, this is part of an apparent ecosystem. And so if there is these guys that make money out of entertainment like this, there will always be those women that are professional groupies. And so what's going on is that professional groupie lifestyle has become popularized in music for women.
Yes. Yeah.
And so now this rhetoric is being promoted to the average everyday girl that was already on the fringe.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And it is speaking to every frustration that they have about men and dating. It is a quick, easy solution to the bullshit that guys play. So why don't I just get stuff out of you?
Yeah.
If you want my vagina, well, then literally pay for it now.
Yes.
And that's where we're at right now. And so that's what those girls would do. And so now what it's done is it has transitioned over, not all women, but the ones that it needs to catch, and that's the masses. In order for critical mass, we've reached a critical mass of thoughterry. And now this rhetoric has just gone massive. It has gone global and it's trendy to not have any substance at all. It is absolutely sad. I do see the women online crying for help. Hey, I'm here. I'm like, oh shit, a real sister out there. Goddamn. Where are you? Oh yeah, Missouri. Yeah. So it's just one of these things of what's going on right now, bro. It is there's still the now, mind you, now we're talking about online women. Not all women are online.
Correct.
So the women that are online aren't the women doing the crazy stuff. And so there is a degree of, you know, everyday interacting that people need to get into, you know, to avoid the scammers and the crazy stuff that's going on right now. If you do meet somebody in close quarters, that's what's recommended right now. And that way you can really get to know somebody the way that you need to. You see them every day. It's not some online weird stuff. All this stuff that Cam's probably dealing with lately, at least, has been DM action.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure at least one of the baby mothers, now that I know there's multiple, was from DM action.
Yeah.
And so when we're dealing with this, these guys are just treating Instagram like it's Backpage.
Yeah.
And so where are we at? And this always ties in to the animalistic desire that men have been finding themselves in due to adult entertainment. And now they just can't turn it off. Everything has to be adult entertainment at all costs. And to the point to where women becoming pump and dumps, they're pumping and dumping anybody. They don't care about qualifications anymore. Everybody's getting pumped and dumped, you know. And so that's what's going on with guys, because every guy's horned out.
Yeah.
It is. And so guys really have to reel it in, man. And they really have to reel it in. You know, we talk about it all the time, controlling your desires. And that the OnlyFans thing is a degree of that, of not, you're putting your credit card in there right now, bro. You're about to give this girl $15 a month. For what? Oh man, she bad, bro. What? You're paying for another one? And so if you can't control this to where you're so doped out that you need to pay, you know, for this stuff. And so where we're at right now, there's a demand for these types of women. And these women are I'm not putting it all on men, but there's a demand for this. And then men go, hey, what's going on, man? Y'all clicking the pictures.
Right.
Oh, I don't want her in real life. You're clicking the pictures.
Yeah.
They don't understand anything else. They say, well, the pictures say it all. Yeah, the likes say it all. You want this. They're running out and getting it. It's ridiculous. Then I'll see some cats. No, whatever this BBL stuff these girls are doing now, it's great.
God.
Yeah, it's great. I'm like, bro, get off this thing. You know, the only people in the comment section were girls was like, we need some supporters. Yeah. And it's like, nah, y'all don't need supporters. All right. You know, so yeah, man, this is where we're at, bro. So Cam was speaking, like we said, from experience, speaking to that class of women. And so for that class of women, we have the one for the athletes. Then once we get into regular everyday stuff, then we have a class, that same tier, but for the average everyday man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, even for the emo cats, right? There's a tier for those women, and there's a tier everywhere.
Yeah, they're listen, every walk of life, every flavor, there's a market for it. There's something for you.
There's a tier there.
Yeah.
There's a high tier. There's a high tier where there is, oh man, everybody wants that. Then when you get it, you realize there's no substance there.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're dealing right now with, a large group, man. Hey, guys are doing it too. We're not here to talk about men because we are men. All right. And we're the conscious approach men. All right. So we don't understand and identify with the goofy stuff. So as far as what women are out there doing, like I said, I do hear the good ones out there. But man, the numbers are climbing, and yeah, man, I feel sorry for tomorrow. for the future families out there. I don't know what this is gonna look like, man.
Yeah, I don't either. It makes me. I've talked about how nervous it makes me too. But yeah, I think that you're right. Just like I'm a believer in the notion of the vocal minority. Most reasonable people don't have inordinate amounts of time to spend on social media complaining about stuff because they're actually living lives. So when you're raising children and you're going to yoga class or spin class, or you're going to arts and crafts, or you're planning a vacation, or you're running a business, or running errands, or going to the grocery store, when you're doing normal human being things, you have less time to spend on the internet complaining about stuff. And likewise, when you are a normal person, you spend less time leveraging your physical appearance on social media. So I do think that the majority of women, the women who Cam claims to be looking for, I do think that that is the majority of them. However, you're not going to find them on the internet. You're not going to find them on Instagram and social media, at least not a lot, because they don't do that kind of, like, they don't orient their lives around their social platforms. So that's just not where you're going to find them. It's going to take that in-person thing, like you said, in order to make that happen. That's very true. It's just, the majority of people who exist in the middle of that bell curve, they're not doing that. They're not always online. They're not always on social media like that. And then also, like, the reason why it's like, and what you said is true about the messaging and the social conditioning, because, the reason why women like this are on a rise is, because it's bad enough that you have women who are already fully inundated, right? So they're already done. They're already gone. They're already living that lifestyle. But the dissemination and the normalization of this behavior through the messaging and the music is making a lot of normal girls ascribe to the same type of stuff. And that's what's causing the increase in it. And I've said a lot, I've said before, like, whereas before, it would take, a female being in some kind of prime position in order to have access to, like, a pro athlete or an entertainer. Now it can be a girl who lives 3 doors down in your apartment complex. And if her social media game is good enough, she'll get DM'd by some NBA or baseball or NFL player somewhere. Like, this stuff is just on the rise. And so it just, I've given up telling, hey, all guys, you need to do this. Stay off OnlyFans. Don't DM chicks. And I've given up with that because it serves no purpose. I'm not going to be able to stop it. I'm not going to be able to stop guys from liking pics and liking and liking photos and videos. I'm not going to stop guys from doing that. I'm not going to stop these guys from following these models and stuff on these Instagrams and all of that. I'm not going to be able to stop it. I'm not going to be able to stop guys from spending money on OnlyFans. I'm not going to be able to stop that. It is as pervasive as it ever has been, and it's going to continue to get even worse. So I'm out the way when it comes to trying to tell guys how they shouldn't be doing this stuff. But what I will say is, whenever I run across guys who talk like Cam, who are just like, where are the women with the intangibles? My first question is, well, where are you meeting these women? What are you doing? Like, maybe you need to work on putting yourself in environments where you can maximize your opportunities to meet women who aren't on that stuff. But if you continue to do the same thing, you can't continue to complain about the types of women that you're encountering, because then it becomes insanity. Because at that point, you're just doing the same thing, but trying to get a different result. And that's just not going to happen. You'll just drive yourself mad doing that kind of stuff in your life. So at the end of the day, if this is something that you really care about, it's going to take a commitment to doing something different so that you can get different results. And, to people who want to get mad at the comments that he made, you just have to do a better job of taking into account his experiences and everything that he went through. What are the types of women that he is around? That speaks volumes in terms of his perspective, and you just got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I agree 100. And for those that, yeah,
Yeah, it's just it
if
is
you,
what it is, man.
if
Like,
you got if you got offended by that, I mean, you get offended by everything.
yeah,
And so for people like that, you're entitled to that. And just to tie into the what's that name, Molly Karen,
Molly Kieran, yeah,
and just to tie in real quick with that. So the thing is with women is there's women advocates. So even if it doesn't apply to them, they don't care,
yeah, right,
and they throw their hat right in the ring. It's all the same to them. And
right.
so I guess rightfully so, right? Nobody else defends them, so they feel like they have to defend themselves. So it is what it
Yeah,
is. So I get all of that stuff, but I mean, come on, man. He's not talking caveman stuff. Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we really need to, grow up and let people have a dialogue.
For
And,
real.
and so that's
Yeah,
why I basically opened up with, where initially it's like, hey, look, again, man, with this stuff, like this guy, he's entitled to this. Can he not say this? Like, can we all just, as adults, just move the hell on? And then so, but no, they have to pick this up. They have to run with it, and they have to shame him. And so, for any man of, that's has any type of a man in him, can see this as foolishness and keep on going about his business. But this isn't for that man. This is for little Timmy, all right, and little Dante. And once they're growing up, they're gonna say, "Man, that is wrong. You shouldn't even say that about women." What are you expecting those women to do then? Then once little Dante and little Timmy grow up at a certain age, now they have this complex of, look, I'm not gonna put my woman in this position. I'm not gonna make her cook. I'm not. Nobody said you have to make her do anything. She has to know how to cook. So it's so I'm not gonna make her do it. And so now little Dante and little Timmy have wives that don't cook. They
yeah,
don't do anything for the family. This is for the family. Hey, so I don't know what Dante and Timmy are doing, but the kids lose. And so now, so the whole thing is that this is yeah, he's speaking to a lot of things. Um, but right now, I really feel as though that this social justice wave is paving. I mean, I can just imagine it's like a forest, and they're just clearing shit out. You can't see nothing. It is a barren land. Only thing you can
yeah,
see is twigs and little pieces of smoke, and everything is just wiped out. And it's like, honestly, it looks like they're trying to wipe out the whole goddamn forest.
yeah.
You won't be able to say, do, or whatever. It's honestly, apparently, all right, the ultimate goal is for everybody to be gray, walking around in Kanye clothes, and automated.
Yeah, we're gonna be brave. It's gonna be Brave New World. That's what we're headed to.
No, we're going.
It's gonna be Brave New World in real life.
Yeah,
That's what it's
no,
gonna be.
we're really going there, bro.
Yeah,
Like, we're
yeah,
really going, and it's honestly, there's a lot of this stuff happened in our lifetime too, bro. Like, a lot of stuff happened in the last decade. Like, it's stuff that you can't say 5 years ago right now.
that's what I'm saying, man. It's so ironic to me that what has fueled a lot of this societal change have been tools that were supposed to open communication. So how ironic it is that social media and Twitter and all of this stuff, they're supposed to be ways to allow for us to more easily and readily communicate with one another. But what it's created is this culture in which we are constantly chastising each other for the things that we say on these platforms. And so it's just creating a culture of censorship, essentially, where we want to try and determine the merit of an individual and their humanity based upon various opinions that they have. When the reality is there isn't a single individual walking the face of this earth who doesn't have an opinion that would probably piss someone else off. So, like, who at the end of the day, what difference does it make? I have opinions that will probably offend someone else, and that person probably has opinions who would offend another person. We all have sensibilities and opinions that would rub another individual who has different sensibilities and opinions the wrong way. So I've always said, as people, diversity of thought should be what we embrace more than anything. I don't care about whether people agree with me or not. And if something is said, and we all know what that line is between what is truly offensive and what is otherwise a disagreeable point of view. And what we've done is we've blurred it and we've made offensive and disagreeable the same thing. We've conflated the two. And it's like it's gotten out of control. And the only way that you can sidestep that is by towing the line. So I can't say anything other than what is perceived to be righteous. As long as I'm saying what is perceived to be righteous, then no one's going to come for me. Had Cam Newton said, I think women are smarter than men and women are better businessmen than men. I think all women are smarter than men and are better at business, and men should be at home cooking and cleaning. No one would have said nothing. No one would have said nothing.
You would have given him applause for that.
Yeah, right. No one would have said nothing because that's what's perceived to be righteous. So, it's a problem. It is what it is. All I can say is, man, what you have to do is you just have to evolve. It's like Pokemon. Back in the day when we were doing the Pokemon game and you had the base Pokemon and you'd have to make them evolve so that they can become stronger and more powerful. You just have to evolve. You have to become your next version of Pokemon. Now that we're in this minefield, you have to learn how to be so effective as a communicator that you can get your point across without incurring the vitriol. That's the new wave now. You have to be so astute at being a communicator that people at the very least will be able to say, damn, I don't like what he said, but I can't really criticize him for it too harshly.
Yeah,
and that's where we are.
Totally. And just to tie in, just to poke at you a little bit. Hey man, this is what LeBron does. This is what LeBron does. LeBron goes, what was that? What you just asked me? He go whoop 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 whoop. Got out of that thing real quick.
Hey, Brady does the same thing. Tom Brady does the same thing.
Yes, brilliant. That's why I respect that. It's so like you go, oh, he's such an asshole. It's like, no, you gotta respect the art. They be asking him trip questions every night. And he doesn't fall for it. It's great. That's why I like Belichick interviews too. Yeah. He is so like I watch Belichick interviews to know how to deal with my chick when she asking me these crazy questions. I'm on to Cincinnati in her ass every time. Every time I'm not on to Cincinnati. Hey, we're not on to Cincinnati because I only have to answer the questions pertaining to the game.
Yeah,
I'm not answering none of these extra. Nope, on to Cincinnati. And so I learned that from Belichick. I watch him, I get inspired. So the same thing, man. So what Cam did is he keeping it too real. Oh yeah. Bro, you don't get points for being a real nigga. You don't get points for that. They look at you like you crazy.
Yeah.
They say, oh, what? You keeping it this 100 on here? Boy, you out your mind. Hey, I was with Gilly the Kid. I was $1 million worth of game. I was trying to
Philly stand up.
The Johns and the Bulls. Yeah. Philly stand up. Yeah, man, all that stuff there. So to me, Cam walked right into a trap. He does need a PR person. He needs to talk that LeBron talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so me and my old lady, we got a joke because it's a LeBron answer. And she'll ask me something pointed. I'm like, ooh. And I just give it a LeBron answer. She's like, that was such a LeBron answer. But hey, it fits.
Yeah.
It's a good one. And we're rocking and we're rolling.
Yeah. This interrogation is now over.
Yeah. Exactly. What can you ask me now?
Yeah.
So,
hey, man,
so for Cam, if the articulation game isn't his thing, he might need to learn the dodge game. You need to do something, bro. Because have a coach PR guy, in-house, publicist. Boy, you need something.
Yeah.
You just running your mouth at this point.
He's just stepping in shit. Yeah, he's gotta learn how to be able to walk around the shit. Real, yeah. That's it. That's really the only thing that I can really fault him for because in terms of what he said, you know, I just gave my 2 cents on all of that. But yeah, man, that'll do it for tonight's stream, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning into this video. Certainly appreciate you supporting the platform. Wherever you're watching this video, if you're watching this video on YouTube, please hit that like button because it is free, costs you nothing. Subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification whenever new content gets posted to the channel. Check out the website on constantapproach.com. You can also follow Constant Approach on Instagram at conapproach, CONAPPROACH. And you can follow me on Instagram at JVWins. Continue to support logical content. Continue to be on the lookout for new and emerging content as we continue to keep this thing rolling.
Yes, sir. In the name of SS, and you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at DogonSS, and honestly, pretty much any other platform. Honestly, just type in DogonSS. I'm most likely there. So just go ahead and give me a follow and all that good jazz. But as I normally say, man, just keep it calm and keep it player, man, and keep it chill, bro. Keep it neutral. Stay in the middle, man. Yeah. Just stay balanced out there, y'all.
Yeah. And apparently only express your true opinions, not on the internet, with your friends and other people who will know that you're not a horrible, evil person just because you have a disagreeable point of view.
Exactly.
And all that good stuff. But until next time, man, we'll catch you on the flip side. We signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting logical content. We out.